Hello everyone, if it's your first time to the channel, welcome, and if it's not, welcome back. In today's video, we're going to continue playtesting in set 5, this time with Red Purple Law. For those of you that may not know, his ability is you can don -3, you can return one of your opponent's characters with 3000 power or less to the bottom of their deck, then you can play one 4 cost or lower character from your hand. And so the deck plays a lot of 3 cost and a lot of 4 cost characters, and in this version we're playing the Rush Zoro, 4 of the Rush Zoro. We're playing 2 of the promo Law that gives you -2000, gives something -2000 on play. We're playing 4 of the Zoro Juro, which if you have 3 or less life, you can add up to 1 Dawn and set it as active. Playing 4 of the 5-drop Blocker Kid. For the other, sorry, that wasn't a 4-drop, I guess, but for the continuing on the 4 drops, we're playing 4 of the Ein. We're playing 4 Shachi Penguin, 4 of the Blocker Law, and then 4 Beppo. So these are all of the ones that you can kind of play off from the leader ability. And just kind of try to create a deck that has a lot of versatility into pretty much any matchup. That's the reason why we're running 2 Sanji. There are some, because you're playing an aggro deck, there are times where decks want to starve you out. So by playing Sanji on, like if you go second and you play him, it kind of makes your opponent attack you. Which you kind of want. And then, I mean, after that, you just use them to kind of attack any small bodies that they might have. For other 2Ks, we're playing 4 Otama, just because, I mean, she synergizes really well with the leader ability, and it's a 1-drop. It's a 1-drop that gives something -2000. It's 2K. Other notable cards that you have to run for Gordon's. I know it's a little expensive right now, but eventually we will be getting a reprint in Raise Max, and that should help out for the deck. And then another card, so I'm running 4 Fire Fist. This could be Gamma Knife, but there are times where you're already pretty low in Dawn, and so I figured, well, I like Fire Fist. It just kind of helps out. There are times where you miss that 1000 power, like if you're playing against Sakazuki and they have a Borsalino, right? The Gamma Knife would take it to 3000 immediately. Same thing for the 7-drop Kid, but it's just I kind of like Fire Fist more than I liked Gamma Knife. And then it also helped because it also helps out in the Sakazuki matchup where you can -4000 like their Lucci, for example, or Hina, and then you can automatically KO Rebecca. So that's really nice. And then another card that I'm running that I know a lot of people aren't too fond of is I'm running 2 of the Ace. There are times where it just feels really nice, right? So like if you go second, on your 4 Dawn turn, you can play Ein, automatically puts you up to 5 Dawn. Next turn, you're at 7. You can play the Ace. If you go, if you go second, if you don't happen to do that combo, right, you can swing 6 with the leader. Let's say you play a Rush Zoro, you play a Zoro Juro right at the 4 Dawn, and then you leader ability into a Shachi Penguin that puts you at 5. And then, I'm sorry, that puts you at 3. Then you can Kid later after to 5 Dawn again, and then eventually you get up to 7. So it just I like it. There are times where I wish I didn't have it, but that's why we run 3 Queen to kind of help cycle a little bit sometimes. And then when you need it and you have it, it just feels really, really good. Like I said though, if you try it out and you don't like it, you can replace it you can run 2 more of the promo Law. You can put in another Rad Beam. You can bump up Queen to 4. You can put in some more counters if you notice that you're running long counters. But yeah, so that's the deck profile, and let's get into some gameplay. All right, and for our first match, we actually have a game against Enel, which we're gonna go second in. Enel is one of our worst matchups, and so this is actually pretty good that we get to play against it. Okay, so I do have the Ein for later. I'm gonna play the Sanji in case they decide to try to starve me, because this is the one deck that would do that. And so, because then, especially when they go first at 5 Dawn, they can play the Gadatsu, and if they haven't attacked me, then they can pretty much KO anything I play. They do decide to attack me here, which we're gonna go ahead and take, and then maybe they play Ashura. Okay, they just pass. So I'm going to swing 5 first. If they take this, then I'm just going to play the Blocker Law. If they don't take it, They did take, but it looks like they got a trigger, which sucks. It is a cracker. Okay, so I'm gonna play Ein into Shachi Penguin, and I'm back to 4 Dawn. I'll keep the Zoro for later in case I need it. Here they could go 5-5, play a Gedatsu, KO my Sanji. I don't have any 2K counters in hand, which sucks a little bit, but I do have Fire Fist to get rid of the cracker. Yeah, so they do. So I'll just take 1 and I'll counter out of 1. And I might counter out of this with... I'm going to need a blocker later. We'll give him the queen for now. And so here I'm going to go... Oh, we actually got a Gordon, so I can save the Fire Fist. Okay, so I'm just going to go 5 here first. See if he gives me any cards. Probably should have done leader first, but he's probably going to save it. We'll go 5 again. Saves it again. We'll go 5 again. Saves it again. Okay. And here we'll go 7. Play the Gordon, bottom deck the Gordon, and then use leader ability. And I'm going to play the Sachi Penguin to ramp again. Okay, so I think it was a mistake for my opponent to defend it so aggressively. He does have an Enel here, though. But I have the Fire Fist. So I'm going to attack a lot of times into this Enel here in a little bit. Yeah, the Zoro just dies. And then I will save Beppo or the Law. That's always a tough question. Beppo helps me ramp, but I kind of need a blocker. There's times where you just need a little bit of defense. So okay, so the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to minus 4,000 the Enel. I could just bottom deck it and then just swing a lot of 5s. I could just try to bottom, even if I bottom deck it, right? So like it makes him take a life. So let's try that. See what he does. Because it remains at 3,000. Yeah, okay. So it's going to die. He doesn't have enough cards to defend it. And so here, hopefully no triggers. He gets his free cycle. Gets a Shirahoshi trigger. That's pretty good. And because he's cycled, I'm just going to go ahead and go again, because now he has to give me a 2K, which he takes, meaning he probably doesn't have a 2K. Gets us a Tori. Okay, so he's going to be able to clear all 3 of these. Actually, if he has something to rest... Okay. I was going to say, if he had something to rest my Law, he maybe could have gone for game there. He would have to do 5, 7, 9. But, okay, so I'm going to lose 2 for sure. So I have 4 attacks here. And I have a Rad Beam. Okay, if I swing 5, he can counter out with 1. Swing 5 again. He can, or I can do 5, 7, 7, 7, or 5, 6, 7, 7. Let's just see if he takes first. Do I have to go for game here? Let me think about this. Let's just see what he does. I could just clear board as well, and then he can't kill me. But if he draws a Yamato, then I'm kind of in a bad spot. Then here he draws 3, trashes 2. Trashes 2 for Shirahoshi, and then 1 more for ability. So he's left with the 2K in hand. Or the El Thor. If he has the El Thor, I just... Oh. And yellow does yellow things. Okay, so, yep, there's nothing I can do to that. He gets the beige as the last life. And if he drew something to heal, then I'm in a little bit, and he did. Okay. So he's going to be able to clear board. Oh no, he might try to go for game. I think this is a mistake from my opponent. I'm going to let him. I'm going to let him try. And then, yeah, I think that was a mistake. So that just wins me the game. I think he was just a little bit too aggressive. But if he had gone for board instead and kept trying to stall out, he probably would have won that. But now he has no cards in hand, so yeah, he has to trash all 3. Oh, okay, maybe not all 3, I guess, but I mean, yeah, so either way, though, we just go 7 here. And he can't get out of this. So now we just go 11. And we take it. No, that was... We had a really good early game. He drew the Yamato there. If he had seen a Yamato earlier, then I don't know that we would have won that. It's a really hard matchup either way, but that's kind of what you want to see, right? You want to see a very aggressive early game to be able to get rid of their board. And then you just kind of hope that the triggers favor you, which I got pretty lucky in this game. I mean, he did trigger Shirahoshi twice, and he got a Satori, but he didn't, and a beige, but he didn't get a Thunderbolt to clear my board, and he didn't get a body early, which is really big. So, but yeah, either way, that's a GG to my opponent. All right, and for the second game, we actually have a matchup against Sakazuki. He chose to go first. I don't love this hand. Or he chose to go second, I'm sorry. I'm going first. I really want to see the 5-drop kid. I do have 2 draws to possibly see it. So we'll just keep for now because it's not a terrible hand. I don't really want to mulligan for just 1 hand when I have Versace. I have the Law, which I'm going to be able to play. Because I'm not going to play anything first turn. Because he can just get rid of it. So I'm just going to swing 8. And then he kind of has to take here. He's thinking about it. I'm very okay with him giving me 2 counters. Yeah, but no, he just takes, and then I'm just going to pass. So you don't, against Sakazuki, you don't really want to play characters until you can get to the point where you can play 2 at a time, and ideally not 3 drops. So you want to be able to play 2 4-drops or a 5 and a 4. So it just makes it a little bit harder for your opponent to get rid of them. Because with a 3-drop, he just swings with leader, puts it down to 2, and then can just Hound Blaze it easily or Lucci it. He gets a Great Eruption and just swings 7. I'm really hoping for a 5-drop. I don't get the 5-drop. Okay, so I can just go 6 here. could arguably do... I could do the law first. And then go 6. If I Shachi Penguin here, he's up to 6 Dawn. He'd need 2 Great Eruptions. I got rid of one. And a Lucci to get rid of it. Is it... Let's just try it. Let's just do it while we still are here. We still go up to 5 Dawn anyway next turn. So praying for the kid. He did have another Great Eruption. Okay. Does he have a third one? Is the question. Okay, he doesn't, but he's going to go 7-7. He just goes 6. I'm going to counter out of this one in case he decides to go 8 here. That's fine. We'll take that one. Plays Sanji's peel-offs. Alright, sounds good to me. Okay, so I can play the law again and then bottom deck the brand new, play out an Ein or a Beppo. But then, I mean, that would put me at 2 Dawn. Do I want to do that? I mean, either way, I'm going to play the law. Get rid of 2 cards. Nice. We got rid of a Borsellino. I wish I had another Shachi Penguin here. I just going to 2 Dawn feels really low. So we'll just swing here. And we'll go here. I don't have a lot of counter, and so doing it this way makes it to where he attacks my Shachi Penguin. But the problem is he could go 6 here, and then if he has another Borsellino, bottom decks here. And I don't have any 2Ks, so I'd have to get rid of the Beppo and the Zorojuro. Plays the Rebecca. Okay, so Rebecca, Hina, into Lucci? No. Okay. Oh, he swings at me. Okay. Yeah, that's fine with me. Okay. So what we're going to do here, I don't have any blockers, but I can get rid of both. So I have 2 Dawn for the Fire Fist. So mine is here. Then I can play the Zoro and then go into the Ein. And that way I just leave up as much counter as I can. So let's just do that. I could just swing at the Hina as well. That way I don't minus the Dawn. But no, it's not worth it. It's not worth it. So we're just going to go 5 here. I could go 7-7. I could go 7-7 here. But do I want to do that? That would put me down to 1, 2 here, minus 3. Put me at 3 Dawn left. I don't know that that's worth it. I mean, I could go for it, but I mean, I'm pretty okay in this spot. I could also just... Do I play the Zoro and just put more pressure? But if he clears both, that's fine. We have the Otama. We'll just go for it. We'll just see what he does here. And he didn't have any counter. Nice. Okay, so... Yeah, so... That's the problem with Sakazuki at times. Is just they just have no counter in hand. Actually, he did have the counter. He had the Rebecca. But after that, I mean, he really didn't have too many plays. Like, he could have Hina'd into Houndblaze, but still would have had no counter for the next time, right? So that gets rid of 1, 2. I still would have had another one. And then that would have got rid of his Rebecca. So he probably just saw that, I mean, either way next turn, right? Even if he played a blocker, I did have the Otama. If he found a way to get another Rebecca, like I could have just bottom decked the Rebecca. And yeah, I mean, I had enough counter to survive. So I had 2, 4, 6, 6K worth of counter. And there was no way he was gonna kill me. So yeah, that's a GG to my opponent. All right, and for our third matchup, we have a game against Red Purple Kid. I'm immediately gonna keep this hand. I was made to go first, and I have Zoro. I have Zoro for turn 2, and I have Kid. So I'm just gonna go ahead and keep. I haven't played against Kid too much. So I'm going to just do what Red Purple Law does and just try to be as aggressive as I can. The problem is he can't attack me too early. He has to invest Dawn to attack me. But either way, we'll just go ahead and play the Zoro and pass. He might play one of his own and then put one on leader and swing. Yeah. Which I'm always going to take. And we get a Shachi Penguin. Oh, that's big. Plays a Zoro. Don't want to take 2 damage this early. That's fine. That should be fine. Okay, so I'm going to swing 5 here. I'm going to swing... Actually... So we're going to play the Kid, -3, play the Shachi Penguin, and then we're going to swing 6. I should have swung 5 and left up the Rad Beam. That's me. That's a mistake on my part. Because I don't have a lot of counter. Okay, he lets it go anyway, so that's doesn't feel as bad. But had he protected it, that would have felt pretty bad. Like I said, I probably should have just done 5 and then left up the Rad Beam. If you have Dawn -1, he gains plus 2,000 power for the turn. He's at 6, so I mean he could play his own Kid and maybe a Killer Searcher. But he's still a 4,000 leader. With Red Purple Law, you kind of play it similar to Red Green Law, in that you would go ahead and just take the first 2 life. I'm gonna block, and Zoro is gonna be too slow now. And then now, okay, he does have a Zoro. Yeah, that just dies. That just dies. There's not much I can do to that. He only has 6 cards in hand. I can play the Queen, gain 2 cards, which will put me at 4 Dawn, play the Zoro, and shambles into the Ein. And that would still leave me with 1 Dawn up. Yeah, that would leave me with the Dawn up for the Rad Beam. So we're just going to go ahead and swing 6 first, so he doesn't really know what we're doing. Swing 5. Play the Queen. Oh, this was a tough decision. the Gordon or the Fire Fist, right? Because I want the counter. I'm gonna play the Ein here, and I'm gonna keep the Rad Beam up. Gordon Otama, I mean, just these two, that's 5k. We'll get rid of the Fire Fist. Play the Iron to ramp one and then pass. And then I feel pretty good at the moment. He has 8 Dawn, so he could play the 7-drop kid. He is a 5,000 leader now. Oh, he has the Luffy. Okay. No, we're not gonna take that just because I mean it's free. And then this is a 6, right? Oh, this 8. That is 8. Well played, sir. Well played. I don't want to lose that yet, though. So I'd rather give up the queen than the... And he just gives up. Yeah, I'd rather give up the queen than the kid. I had Gordon next turn. I had Gordon to get rid of the Luffy. But, I mean, I was going in 5-5-5-5. Gordon. Or more, right? I could have done 5-7-7-7. Done the Gordon to get rid of the Luffy, or to give the Luffy minus 3,000 leader ability. Bottom deck the Luffy, play out the blocker. Still had 2k counter with their hand and whatever I would have drawn. Then my opponent goes up to 9 Dawn next turn, so he can't play the Sanji. He can't play the 10 drop. I mean, he could play the Sanji, but there's really no point at that point. No reason to play the Punk Ryan. He could have played the Luffy or the Sanji there. Probably would have played another Luffy, but we had enough to survive, especially because we were going to get rid of that. So he would have only been able to take 2 life, and we would have just put in so much pressure. But yeah, that's a GG to my opponent. All right, and for the 4th and final matchup, we actually have a mirror match, which he chooses to go second. This hand is very weird. It's a very, very weird hand. It's a very weird hand. I do have the kid, though. But we'll just keep. Let's just see. I don't know that I love my decision, but I mean, mulling again for a Zoro or a or Zoro Juro. Just when I have the Shachi Penguin, I have the kid. Just feels pretty bad. He did get to go second, which is already a major advantage in the mirror. And just passes. Alright, well, I'm just going to go 8. He takes. And then I'll pass. And then he's probably just going to swing, check me for 5. And I'll counter out of that. Because if I don't and he has the 4-drop law, then I'll just get punished. I'll give him the Sanji, which in this matchup just isn't going to do me any good. My opponent's asking me how long I've been playing it. I played it a little bit before set 5 came out. I thought it was going to be my main deck. Unfortunately, I don't get to go to locals too often, so the couple of times I've been to locals has been a little bit more of the like grindier days, just kind of bigger tournaments. But it's definitely a deck I'm looking to play again now that some of the bigger tournaments are out of the way, at least in my locals. All right, let's see what my opponent does here. I will say if Enel, oh, he plays the Brook. Okay. Does he have the Sachi Penguin? Plays the Beppo. And then swings for 5. I could take this now. Now that I know he's not playing the now that I know he's not playing the law. Okay. I wish I had the 4-drop law here. I could play Otama. Otama. They're both pretty bad. They're both pretty bad, but if I get rid of the Beppo, then at least he can't ramp. Otama, Sachi Penguin. And that way this puts me at 5 Dawn. My opponent goes up to 4 Dawn, so I have a little bit of an advantage there. And then he has to do 1 Dawn to give both of them minus 2k. So it leaves him with 3 Dawn. So he'd have to play a Zoro or a Zorojuro. Or I guess a Law as well. But he can't play any 4-drops. He does have the Zoro. Okay. Yeah, he has to swing 6 here. Which that's fine. I'm going to take this one just to kind of see what I get. And then I'll give him the Zorojuro and the Sanji. Does he have another Rush Sanji? Or Rush Zoro? Has a Beppo. That's pretty good. That is pretty good. Let's go here first and see what he does. I'm going to be able to go 5, 5, 6 at the Brook. Okay, so he lets that one go. Oh, okay. Alright, so I don't even have to do that. I can just do this here. And play the Ein. And then pass turn. And I think my board's getting just a little bit too wide for my opponent. He only has 4 Dawn. Even though he did get to go second. And use the Brook ability. Just having the Eins, the Kid, and the Sachi Penguin early was just a really good start. He's playing the Izo. Interesting. I wonder if it's to try out the 4-drop blocker. Gets an ace. Hey, a man of culture. See, like last turn I had 7 Dawn, right? So I could have done ace as well. Next turn ace would still be pretty good. He's probably gonna taps 2-1, so Gamma Nice, my kid, okay. But then if he bottom decks it, then he has no Dawn, and that's just gonna, I mean, I'm just gonna protect here my Iron with the queen, or I could just let it go. If I was at 8 Dawn, but no, I think we just let it go. Yeah, because I'm gonna play the queen, bottom deck the Ezo. Oh, and we get a kid. Never mind. So I'm just gonna go 5, 7, 7. Play the kid, bottom deck the Ezo into the Zoro. Yeah, and I mean this is just, I think that's just game. He goes up to 2 Dawn, so there's really not much he can do. So at most he can swing 7 at either my Ein or my Zoro. Yeah, and then he just concedes. He has two aces. He is asking for a rematch. We'll give him a rematch. So this will, and I'll go second this time. This will be the actual last game. I'm gonna keep. Even though it's not the most amazing hand, but the law in this matchup is pretty good. I do have an Ein and a Beppo. See what he does. I hope he plays his, well, okay, he's not playing his Zoro. Okay. I'm not sure what just happened. Just plays out a Shachi Penguin. Okay. Dawn minus is 1 to play the Shachi Penguin. Probably didn't have a 3 cost in hand. And swings 5. We're just going to take, and we get a Shachi Penguin. Oh, this, yeah, I think that's going to be. Because I'm just going to play the law minus the Shachi Penguin. Bottom deck it, play my own Shachi Penguin. And then next turn I can do it again with whatever he plays. Which is why I kept the hand, just because this card's really good in the mirror. It's also really good against Katakuri, because if they play Pero Spero on 3 Dawn, if you're able to go second and they play Pero Spero on 3 Dawn, then you just play him. You can bottom deck the Pero Spero so they don't get the search, and then you can play out something else. Enel, it's okay. A lot of the times on 3 Dawn turn, they probably won't play anything. They'll just swing big. But they may play, if they just play a Holy, then, I mean, it's good in that situation. Plays double Brook, and then doesn't swing. Okay, well, I'm just going to swing. I'm just going to swing with everything, and I'm able to get rid of 1. Play another one. Minus and play the Ein. So I go up to 5 Dawn again. He just passed. That might have been a misclick. Yeah, it was just a misclick. Okay. Either way though, that was a I mean we just kind of had a lot of control over that game. There's not much he could do to get the Brook ability off. He was gonna have to use all of his Dawn, right? He would have to swing 6 and then 7 and then bottom deck one of them. But I still would have had. I mean, he would have, or he could have attacked at the cards themselves, right? But I would have countered out the Otama with one. One would have died, and then he would have got rid of one. And so I still would have had 2 characters on board, leader, and then here, right, I have the kid now. So I would have played the kid. I would have done 5, 5, 5 at the Brook. 5 for the kid. Play out a Zoro, leave one. If I was down to 2 life, I would have left 1 up for Rad Beam. If not, then it would have been fine. But yeah, either way, that was a GG to my opponent. All right, and for our final thoughts, we got to see games against Enel, Sakazuki, which are our meta matches. We got to see against Red Purple Kid and a Mirror. The Mirror, the player was a little bit newer, and we did happen to have tech, specifically Law, for the Mirror. And the kid on curve is just so good, because if they don't have a way to get rid of it immediately, you just stay really, really ahead. This is honestly just the MVP of the card. If you can see this early, you're probably going to win a lot of the times. That is the problem with Red Purple Law. It's just you need to see what you need to see to be able to win, and there are times where it can be a little bit inconsistent, and so you're kind of left with, I just have to, use leader ability as quickly and as much as possible to put as many characters on board, and then you're left with a little bit of Dawn. But if you're able to play that kind of slower mid-game matchup, that's where the deck really shines. But unfortunately, you have to see the cards that you need to see for that to happen. And if you don't, you just run out of steam really quickly. And if other decks are able to survive that pressure, then there's no comeback mechanic with this deck. So that's the biggest thing, is just knowing when to be aggressive and then when not to be aggressive, and when to actually use leader ability. If you notice, I didn't use leader ability on my second turn always, right? I would use it once I knew that it would be advantageous for me. Like I said, specifically in the Sakazuki matchup, I just swing 8. If I go first, I just swing 8 to begin with, and then next turn play both, so he doesn't get rid of my characters. And then in the Enel matchup, same thing. I waited a turn before I started swapping out before I started using leader ability, so I wouldn't fall too far behind at the start of the game. With that being said, though, that's the video. That is the deck profile. If you have any questions, feel free to leave them in the comments below. If you enjoyed the video, please like, comment, and subscribe. I'm going to keep trying to post as many videos as I can, and we're growing little by little by little. I really appreciate all the support, and I hope you all have an amazing day.